Iran is a country located in the Middle East, just east from Iraq and west from Afghanistan and Pakistan. The type of government in Iran is an Islamic republic, and their current president is Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. Ahmadinejad used to be a respectful leader in Iran and a feared one internationally. However, in 2009, a wave of protests swept the country of Iran. 2009 was a new election year for the office of president in Iran. The citizens wanting change in the office were not only upset but were also suspicious of Ahmadinejad's large margin of victory. Winning 64% of the votes in 2009, the Iranian people accused the vote to have been rigged in his favor. Protesters dressed in green sporting the national color of Iran flooded the streets of major cities such as Tehran. These protests were known as the Green Revolution because of the unanimous color of green worn by all the protesters. These protests are also known as the Twitter Revolution because of the widespread use of social networking sites to organize protests and to execrate their unwanted leader. Protests have also resurfaced in our current year of 2011, along with other Middle East revolutions such as Egypt and Libya. During these protests, many other kinds of issues have occurred in and around Iran. Negative foreign relations between Iran and neighboring countries such as Israel and Saudi Arabia help generate unrest in the Middle East. The Huffington Post reported on May 1, 2011, that Iran and Saudi Arabia are on the verge of entering a Cold War, which may turn into a deadly war. Iran has always been in a conflict with Israel because Ahmadinejad strongly believes that Israel should not be a country, and what he says his country must follow. This is because Ahmadinejad is not afraid to execute anyone who speaks out against him. Payman Bagheri is an independent blogger that used to live in Iran. He has written over 50 articles criticizing Ahmadinejad's government. In an interview with CNN.com, he tells why he left the country. "I was threatened over the phone," he says. "My house was under constant surveillance. I felt like I was a target." He also tells of two other bloggers like himself who have been arrested and sentenced to 15 years in prison. Other ridiculous decisions such as banning women from live soccer games and using lethal tools such as tear gas on his own people to break up crowds of protesters only help the risk of a civil war in Iran. On the Goldstein rubric, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad scored a 53%. He was graded on an all-or-nothing scale, which means he either got a 10 or a 0. Ahmadinejad is constantly in a conflict with Israel because of his beliefs and is currently receiving a nasty look from Saudi Arabia. Iran has also butt in on the situation in Syria, where there are also protests. Since Iran and Syria are allies, Iran is helping Syria quiet the protesters by rounding up rebellion leaders at night and killing them off. Though he is not as successful as Goldstein may like, he is indeed fighting off the protesters, which is why he gets the 10. Using tear gas to disperse the protest and speaking publicly, trying to disregard the protesters, show he is at least trying. While Ahmadinejad is not directly altering the past, he is making changes to the media. Earlier in the video, Bagheri told CNN.com how Ahmadinejad jails bloggers for writing short articles about their opinion. Ahmadinejad, according to Reuters.com, is also calling for education reform to where university classes are to become more Islamic as opposed to being more factual. Although Iran does invest a lot into nuclear research, there is no limit on what people can do scientifically. Ahmadinejad has shown no signs that he does not feel that he is capable of ruling Iran. Ahmadinejad is not given to the protesters, nor has he considered negotiating with them, so he obviously does not care about the people that much. He just wants power. Like in the Bagheri article, someone had called him and threatened him for the article he wrote, someone obviously loyal to Ahmadinejad. So based on that, it appears that there is a similar version of the thought police working for him. No, because the Iranian people are allowed to leave the country as they please. There is no set class system in Iran right now because of all the protesting. Maybe Ahmadinejad and his closest advisors versus the country of Iran is as closest to class you will get. Lately, there has been absolutely no propaganda in favor of Ahmadinejad. Ahmadinejad is trying to help stop the revolution in Syria to eliminate the chance of the reformed Syria of taking over Iran. I believe he is aware of his surroundings and is going to prevent being taken over. One word. Protest. One more word. No. Please refer to the last question for more information. Iran is internationally popular for how much it has focused on nuclear research and creating nuclear weapons. There is no proof for or against this question, so since the proof isn't there, His Excellency gets a 0.